Hello. During this demo, you'll learn how to use the MyCap participant management to view MyCap participants, invite participants to join your project, and manage communications with participants using MyCap. So we're going to start from our study that already is created and it's already enabled for MyCap. If you watched the other videos, you saw that we completed the MyCap app design already, and we went to our online designer and we indicated which instruments we would like to be captured in MyCap. So our next step is to use this MyCap participant management. And I also just want to remind you that there you can always access the View MyCap Initial Instructions here from your project setup page. So the MyCap participant management page, this is how you keep track of which participants are using MyCap, how they're displayed, and you also use it to communicate with participants and investigate app synchronization issues. So if data aren't coming into REDCap for some reason. So on your participants tab under MyCap participant management, this is where you would want to set a custom participant label. All the records in your project are by default going to appear in this list. So if you want to say, I would like to identify participants by their first name in this list, then you can set that. You can also set a custom label if you'd like to be a little bit more sophisticated, and maybe you want to display, last name, first name. Those are fields in my project, so I can create a custom participant label with those fields. So I've set that. Again, as I said, all records in your project will appear in this list. However, if not all records in your project, if not all participants are actually using MyCap to participate, you might use this participant display logic and the logic editor provided to indicate which participants are using MyCap and who should appear in this list, just so it doesn't get too overwhelming and too large. I will show you another project where you can actually see how this gets built out. The last thing I wanted to highlight on this participants tab is this invite participants button. So all of your records, again, can use MyCap. Participants have to have a record before they can join your project in MyCap. So when it comes time to thinking about how am I going to invite my participants, how am I going to actually get my participants to join MyCap, we provided some information to help you. So under this invite participants button, there's a pop-up. And we provide some guidance. So what you want to first think about is what format do you want participants to use to join your project? Do you want to use a QR code? Would that be easy for them? Maybe if they're sitting at a computer a lot and they have a way to show the QR code on their computer and then scan it with their phone or their device, that would be a good option. If a lot of your participants probably don't have two devices, one to show the QR code and one to scan it, you might think about using a hyperlink. So this is just a link that participants can click on and go install the app, and then they're automatically triggered to join your project once they have the app installed. Or if they already have the app installed, they just immediately go to the page to join your project. If you're just not sure and you want to provide both options, you can do that as well. So you pick which option works for you. And then what we've done is provide some text to help you explain this to participants. So we have some HTML here that I'm going to copy. And I'm going to copy that and paste it into a couple places so that I can send it out to participants automatically. But we just provide this preview so you can see what it looks like. And you're also able to edit this. I'll show you how to do that. So then at the bottom of this dialog, we talk about, okay, now that I have this joining information, how do I get that out to participants? So you can do that in a couple of ways. One, you can use REDCap alerts and notifications. So I'll show you how to do that. And you could display this information at the end of a survey. So as survey completion text. So let me show you how to do that. So first, if you, in your instruments, if you're using surveys and maybe your first instrument is what you're using as like this intake. Again, this one was using this to capture demographics and consent. So if you are doing a survey, then you can go to survey settings. And if you scroll down, there's a section called survey completion text. So you can see I already had text here that I wanted to show my participants when they had completed this. So I already wanted to show them this. It's pretty long. But there's this source code button. So if I click that and I just scroll to the bottom again, this one's pretty long. Yours may not have anything yet. If you return a couple times and just paste in that HTML, it's really simple. And then you can look at it in your rich text editor. And this is where you could make edits. You could change the color of this. You could change it to a nice blue and maybe get a yellow highlight. Just since this is so long, you might want to call attention to it. So you can edit this information, but basically we're telling participants, if you don't have the MyCap app installed, you can use one of these methods to join. Or if you have MyCap already installed because you're using MyCap on another project, then you would follow these instructions. And so we automatically include this RedCap will generate their unique participant URL, their link, and their unique QR code to join your project. So we can save this information. I can show you what that looks like in another demo. And then let me just show you the alert and notifications. So alerts and notifications are really cool. You can set up alerts to trigger emails or text if you have Twilio set up on your project. But if I already have an alert set up that I wanted to email the participant whenever they are willing to participate. So I already had this created. So I'm not going to walk through all these details because that's kind of a separate RedCap feature. But I have this set up to send an alert when the survey is completed and the participants willing to participate. It doesn't have to be that complicated, but it is for this study. And then I have my, the schedule. So I want to send it immediately and just send it once. And I'm going to use an email. So I've included a name that I hope they recognize and then my email. I also have a text field with an email validation. So that is why I can select this as I want to email. It'll just inject the participant's email automatically. That's why it looks kind of generic like that. And then you can customize the subject of the alert or the email and the message. So here again, I have this information I already wanted to provide to my participants as an email. Then I'm going to go to my source code again, scroll to the bottom, return a couple of times, paste in my HTML for joining MyCap, and then I can see it here. And again, I could make edits if I want. And that's how you add that MyCap participant access information, your QR code or link to join your project into an alert notification or a survey completion text. So let me show you what this looks like. So I'm going to a separate project just because I had a couple of participants in here already. So I have Alex and Ingrid. I am here. I'm in my MyCap participant management page. So I can see Alex and Ingrid. Alex is record 1, Ingrid is record 2. I can see their install date, the date that they installed my project on their app, which is cool. And then if I were collecting baseline date and they had entered it, it would also populate here, but this project wasn't using that. So this is where I could also send a message to Alex. Let me get to that in just a second. Let's complete this survey and I'll show you what that survey completion text looks like. So for this one, I just had name and then my email, because I am going to send them that alert and notification so that I get my joining information as well. So let's submit this. And now here's my instructions for how to join MyCap. So I do have a link here that the participant could click on, or if they're looking at it on a computer like I am, I'd probably just pick up my device and scan that QR code. This link will not work on a browser. So I think it will, let's see, open, but it says, yeah, you have to use a mobile device. So it tells them that. Okay. So now if I go back to my MyCap participant management, now I have another user, another participant, Emily. She's record 3. She hasn't installed my project yet. But I wanted to show you the messages feature. So under MyCap participant management, this is where you can also communicate with your participants. Really cool. You can send announcements to all of the participants in your project. If you have data access groups set up, DAGs, you would only be able to message the records or the participants that are in your DAG. So that's also cool. But if you don't have any or you have access to all the DAGs, then you can send a message to everyone. So I created an announcement. They go here, I can see it. You did it, you joined successfully. Let us know if you have any questions. So announcements, you can send those at any point for the project, but when a participant joins, they're going to see all the announcements, even announcements that were sent before they joined. You can also see when you sent it and who sent it. So this is me. In my inbox, this is where I can see individual messages from participants. So I can see I have a message from Ingrid. It doesn't need any action, but I have a message from Alex and it does need action. So let me show you what that means. So when you go here, this is going to be like your conversation history with Alex. So here's Alex. They were on their phone. They said, happy Friday. It says action is needed, and that's the default for all messages received. So if I take that away, that's now I don't see that, yes, it needs action. And now I also don't see any badges that show me how many messages I need to look at. So again, all messages that are received come in as needing action. So this alerts you and lets you know that somebody has messaged you. And if you go in and turn this off for Alex, then any other user, RedCap user on your project, they will not see this as needing action either. It's a global setting, so it isn't individualized to you. This isn't like your inbox. This is your project inbox. So that's important to know. Yeah, you can also see any messages that were sent. So if there are lots of you working on a project, you can see, oh, somebody responded, who sent it, when did they send it? You could also see that from the thread with Alex. So this is going to show you that Chef Egg responded to Alex and Chef Egg sent an announcement. So yeah, so app sync issues, we don't have any, but those occur when things like you've made an edit to your instrument and maybe you deleted a field, but you didn't publish it. And then Alex completes that questionnaire and they try to submit it. And it won't sync because it has this extra field data for it and it doesn't know where to map it into your project. So that's a common reason that you might get like an app sync issue. It will show you all the data that would have been ingested and synced with your RedCap database, but didn't get to because there was an error. So we might create a separate video for those because those can get pretty complicated, but they are rare. Yeah, so that's your MyCap participant management page. Again, the badges show you how many messages are there. You do not get like an email notification that somebody messaged you, so you would need to be on your project to see this and to see this alert. But you can message participants at any time and they can message you as well. Yeah, so thanks for watching.